The opinions expressed in the following program are not necessarily those of Eastlink Community TV, its sponsors, or partners.
Hi there, I'm Gloria McCluskey, and you're watching Destination Dartmouth. My destination today is down at the great Dartmouth General Hospital, and my guests are Dr. Todd Howlett, Chief of Staff, Stephen Harding, CEO and Executive Director of Dartmouth General Hospital Foundation.
That's right, thank you.
That's a mouthful,
It's
Stephen.
a mouthful, exactly. Welcome, Gloria. Thank you for joining us.
So thank you for being here
Thank
today.
you,
I know
Gloria.
you're both very busy, and we thank you for everything you do down here.
Well, thank you
As
very
I said,
much.
this is a great hospital, and people get great service here. Well, I'm going to start with you, Dr. Howlett. A
Right.
lot of money has been spent on the hospital recently, and I want you to tell me what has happened and how we're going to benefit from all that money.
Yeah, thanks, Gloria. Absolutely. We're really excited by the investment that's being made in Dartmouth. We've got a long history of serving our community, and we're excited about what we'll be able to do with the new and the expansion. So we're sitting right now in our new entranceway. It's somewhat fitting that the new entranceway is one of the first things we've opened because it will come into our new hospital. We are just off this way. We have a new 3-story addition that's going to give us 8 new ORs, a new endoscopy suite, a new ambulatory care center, and they're also working on the 5th floor to complete the promise and finish our 5th floor.
That's been a long time coming.
It has indeed, yes, and many people are anxious to see the 5th floor finally being kitted out and patients there. In addition to that, we're renovating our radiology department. We're putting a new ICU in and a new IMCU, and we're spending a lot of time making sure that there's amenities for patients and waiting rooms and proper flow for patients so that we care for them.
That's all very great. I think there's been a great cry and a great demand for the new ORs for orthopedic.
Yes. Yeah, no, thanks for bringing that. We're quite excited by that. One of the things that Dartmouth General will be doing is a focus on orthopedic care, specifically around knee and hip replacements. So we're going to create a high volume arthroplasty or joint replacement center for knees and hips. And we'll be the largest center in the province for putting knees and hips in when we're done.
That'll be very welcome. And you'll have orthopedic surgeons coming here from across the harbor probably to work here also.
Yeah, well, in actual fact, we've already hired some of these orthopedic surgeons.
Great.
And we have some brand new ones that are trained other places.
Great.
Bringing new techniques, new ideas to us. We're excited, they're young, they're keen. They're working here part-time, and over at the QE2, when we have more room for them, they'll move here full-time.
Oh, isn't that wonderful? So you'll be able to operate the whole 8 ORs.
Yes, I mean, in addition to the community, so Dartmouth has historically been the community hospital for the eastern side of the harbor,
has.
and we'll continue in that role, and we're pretty proud of that.
We're pretty proud of the Dartmouth General.
Yeah, we're a community hospital this side of the harbor, and we're excited by that. But in addition, with the idea of creating an interest in orthopedic care, and that'll be for the whole of the Halifax area.
Right.
So it's likely, given the volume that we'll be doing here, that if you're somewhere else, Halifax, Bedford, that you may come to the Dartmouth General to get your
Yes.
hip or knee replaced in the future.
That's great. And you don't stay in hospital very long for that anyway. I've had knees done, so.
Well, I mean, it's interesting because we even have people, as you know, one of the pioneers of half-knee replacements where you didn't even stay in the hospital was Dr. Venugopal, who recently retired from the Dartmouth General.
Yes.
And some of our new orthopedic surgeons have training and experience for total knees not to stay in the hospital even one night.
Oh yeah, well that's great.
Yeah.
Because there really isn't any need for it. You know, you can. The thing that I'm always thinking is what should they do after they get it? That's the big thing.
Sure.
Anyway, I'm not going to dwell on that.
Well, there's lots to talk about knee and hip replacements. The surgery is an important part, but it's not the only part.
Nope.
There's an important part that happens before the surgery to get
And
people
after the
ready,
surgery.
and an important part for people to do after the surgery. So
Right,
there's
right.
there's a part for the patient to play clearly in having a successful knee or hip surgery.
So you're going to have more staff working from here, Dr. Howlett?
We will, yes.
Yeah.
And we're going to have a significant larger number of both nurses, doctors, and all the people that support that, physios,
Right.
dietitians,
Yeah.
cleaners, porters, and we're anxious and keen to share our culture with the new people that will be coming to
Great.
join us.
What about the cafeteria? Are you going to work on that place too?
Yes. So
He wants
it's,
a new cafeteria.
So we're smiling because though it's not part of this project, it's part of my project. So the
Right.
cafeteria.
So you're asking him to get the money so you can do it?
Well, we have a very
We'll be
good
working on it,
relationship
yeah.
with our foundation, and we are very lucky and appreciative of all the work the foundation does for
I
us,
guess.
and the generosity of our donors and our community. It's a real symbiotic relationship. They say all the good work we're doing, we raise more money, and we do more good work.
It's a great partnership for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it always has been.
Yes.
It's a good partnership.
Yeah,
and,
so important.
and you look around and there are certain things that we couldn't have if it wasn't
Without
for
donors,
the
yeah.
foundation.
There's no
And the
question.
donors, of course, who give to the foundation.
That's right. Yes. Yeah.
But your great golf tournament, I played in for years and years and years.
Yes, exactly.
Great lobster dinner.
June 1st, lobster dinner
Our
coming up.
lobster dinner,
Yes.
I'll be there, I never miss the lobster dinner, and everything else. So is he very demanding, Stephen?
Not at all. Todd has high standards and really has a
doesn't
great
pressure
vision
you?
as well. So he pressures a lot, but for a good reason. And what Todd's asking for is what our patients need. So it's-
Exactly.
we want to deliver the best
And-
patient care
and-
possible.
We couldn't have them unless,
Our fantastic donors and
Unless we
supporters,
had
our
the-
volunteers,
yeah, the
they've been
volunteers.
so fantastic to help
Yeah.
drive this project. Yeah.
Stephen, you're relatively new here.
Yes, I joined back in January.
Yeah,
Yes,
so how you,
I love it.
enjoying your
I
job?
love the culture here. The people are
and
fantastic.
living in Dartmouth, what could be better?
That's right. Coming back to Dartmouth, and
Yeah.
my family has deep connections to Dartmouth, obviously.
Yes,
So,
I know your family.
And Todd has been such a great community supporter as well, and a great doctor to our family as well. So
Good.
it's really meaningful for me to come back and join the Dartmouth General Foundation.
So I'm going back to Todd for a minute. Todd, the 5th floor, how many rooms are going to be up there?
Yeah. So there'll be 48 new patient
48.
rooms.
Isn't that
Yeah.
great?
And it's interesting because the actual footprint, it's a bit less than on the 3rd and 4th floor, but the
Yeah.
new standards are the rooms are bigger, so it allows us to serve some of our more complicated patients.
And they've never had private rooms here in this
We have had
hospital.
some.
Have
yeah.
you?
No, we do have private rooms. And
That must be just kind of recent, is it?
no, I think since the beginning of the hospital, I've been involved quite a bit. Most of our rooms are semi-private, but we
Yes.
have private rooms. I think the Dartmouth General has always been a bit unusual in that we have very few wards or 4-bed rooms,
yeah.
but we've had semi-private rooms and private
Oh,
rooms.
yeah.
And we're adding more of both. Yeah.
Are you?
Yes.
But you're not having wards?
There's no more wards being added,
No. So we still have, I'll call them residents in the hospital who occupy space, nursing home space. I'm getting the signal that it's time for a break. So hold that thought and we'll be back.
Very good.
You're watching Destination Dartmouth. We'll be back in a minute. We're back. I'm here with Dr. Todd Howlett and Stephen Harding from the foundation. Todd, when I went on the break, we talked about there are still people here who are waiting for nursing homes.
Yeah, I mean that's true. One of the challenges is that there will always be some people that were waiting to leave the hospital
Yes.
and who can't
We're
go
not
home,
able to.
the first choice is always home,
Yes.
and our first direction is try to get people home with supports.
Yes.
We know that the evidence is people are happier at home.
They're much happier.
They want to be home, and they do better at home.
Sure
But
they do.
in some cases, we can't get people home, so they end up in having to go to long-term care, and there is a delay sometimes in
There
getting
is a
people.
delay.
Yes.
There's a shortage of long-term.
Yeah, I can't speak exactly to the numbers, but we do know that at any time at Dartmouth General, we have approximately between 15 and 20% of our inpatient medical patients are waiting for are in the process to go to long-term care.
And in the meantime, they're getting good care. And just
Sure.
Waiting.
Yeah.
I want to talk about the emergency department.
Yeah. Well, as you know, I'm an emergency physician, so I do
know
work
you
there
are.
when I'm working.
I
yeah.
know you are an emergency physician, and I know how busy that place can be.
Yes.
And I know how many ambulances come down here because they pass my house. And so there's been a lot of talk recently about ambulances being tied up because the workers or the paramedics have to stay with the patient until somebody takes over. Here in Dartmouth, you're doing something different than that.
We are. Thanks for bringing that up. Yeah, we have, we call it a transition team, but we actually, for the last year or so, we created a somewhat novel program including a paramedic and a nurse
Right.
who take those patients fairly quickly and release the ambulances back to the community. It's not perfect, it's not simple, and sometimes it creates some congestion in the emergency department, but we think it's important because it allows ambulances to be released. So the ambulances spend less time at the Dartmouth General on whole,
Yeah.
and we have about 25 ambulances a day approximately that come to the Dartmouth General.
Isn't that amazing?
It's busy some days.
It is busy. And it's not an easy ride in the streets in Dartmouth, especially now with the potholes.
This has been a rough winter for the roads. I
I can
agree.
tell
I
you that.
agree. Yes.
And I suppose the emergency, where you deal with, you have quite a catchment area here.
Yeah, I mean, there are 9 regional hospitals in the province. The 2 busiest would be Cape Breton Regional and Dartmouth General.
Yeah, I know
and that's
they're
strictly because of the population. We're in
Right.
some of the most populated areas. The QE2 is a different type of hospital. It's a tertiary hospital. But yeah, the Dartmouth General is a very busy hospital, and it serves a large number of people.
Yeah, and they come from all around.
Well, our catchment area is about 130,000 that
Oh,
come to
yes,
our
yeah.
hospital, so that's a fair number of
So
people.
Dartmouth's about 70-some, so the rest of them.
We look
come
after the
from
Eastern
outside,
Shore,
yeah.
and sometimes towards the airport, and at night sometimes people come from Sackville to see us instead of going to Halifax. Yeah.
So the other thing that will happen now, when is the 5th floor open? Is it-
Right. So there's a lot. So this is a very complicated renovation, and we're not moving out. The 5th floor is opening in 2 phases, and there's a reason for that. But we think by the end of this year, part of the floor may be available for beds by the end of this year. The remaining part of the hospital will be another year and a half because of some work that's being done in the ICU that's underneath it. So it is a complex staging. As we say to people, we're doing a major renovation, we're not moving out, and the neighbors are dropping in every day. So it's some days gets very
good way to say
exciting.
it.
Yeah, yeah.
And when that opens, that'll also help the emergency department.
Yeah, we're hoping that will create some capacity there as well.
Yeah.
So we, as we need to unload the ambulances, we need to unload the emergency department,
You
and
do.
we need to unload the hospital.
Yeah.
So each of those steps are important when we talk about patient flow.
Very good. Now, as far as the emergency goes, there's no renovations taking place now in that part.
Well, so thanks for asking that. There's actually a couple other projects that are happening at the same time.
Good.
And the emergency department is having some renovations
Oh,
doing.
great.
But it's a separate project, and it's being sponsored by the foundation again.
Oh, well, we'll
right,
talk
exactly,
about that
yes,
when we
yeah.
get to Stephen there.
So, so the floor is going to be completely replaced, and the front end of the hospital, which we call triage, when you first show up,
Yes.
sometimes the waits to get to the nurse are
Yeah,
quite
that's
high.
kinda-
So we're going to create double triage so we can have twice as many patients seen at the same time.
The entrance here is so nice now.
Yeah.
And it's in such a great spot. On the side there, it was always so windy, and this is lovely. You come in, and I think of when I went in the hospital in Moncton, it reminded me of a of a barn. And when I come in here, it's so nice and bright. And even though you're coming to a hospital, it gives you a
Well,
lift.
I think you know, we've talked about this. We've had some events here. The front entrance it sets a tone when you come into this
it
hospital.
does, of course.
Coming to the hospital
Great first impression.
may be scary,
Yeah.
may be frightening. You may be coming to see a loved one.
Yeah.
I think it's good to have an environment that feels welcoming,
it's nice.
refreshing, and
It's
reassuring.
nice.
And I think we've accomplished that with this front entrance.
Yeah, that's great. So I'm going to start talking to you for a while now,
Okay, great.
Stephen, about the foundation.
Yes, great.
So the foundation, well, you're not in this building now, but you will be coming.
We're going to be
this
coming back to
building.
this building
Yeah.
once the renovations
so,
are complete.
So
yes,
you're
yeah.
doing a campaign now for funds.
Yes.
So
we,
how's that going?
It's going really well. So
Is
the
it?
community of Dartmouth has been so fantastic and welcoming and supportive of the new plans that the hospital's put forward. We have a $13 million campaign. We've launched a $13 million campaign, which will be multiplied by and leveraged to really drive a $150 million project to do the full renovation.
Isn't that wonderful?
10 times multiplier. So for every
Right.
donation, every dollar donated, it's 10 times will be multiplied to drive the expansion here. We were at $11 million already, so
Isn't that great?
great donors have stepped up to really make this campaign happen.
So what's the big project from this 13 million?
So the
Or is many projects?
many projects for sure. So the $150 million campaign will really help deliver what Todd talked about in terms of
Emergency.
the new wing as well. So the new centers for endoscopy and fantastic renovations here of the ICU as well. So that $150 million project will really transform this hospital and really create this new center for hip and knee replacements, the orthopedic center.
And will
which,
people be able to have work
fantastic.
done here now that they had to go to the QE for before?
That's right, as this becomes a center.
We
of-
didn't have an endoscopy.
No, we
Yeah,
did.
before.
We
Did we?
absolutely did. But I would suggest that a lot of people had to go to Halifax for certain things because
Yes.
we didn't have the capacity, especially on the surgical side. So some of that will come back here. But the other thing is, we also have decided, with the focus on knee and hips, is that we'll be a center for, and we'll be a high volume center doing it efficiently, so people from all over the Halifax region will come to Dartmouth to get their hips and knees done. And they'll get the same, we're excited by that, because people go, I have to go to Dartmouth, and we say yes.
Oh, yes.
And then they come to
And
Dartmouth.
you know something? They'd be happy to come to Dartmouth.
Well,
It's destination Dartmouth,
So
right?
once or twice, or many more times than that, they've come and they said, you know, I didn't want to come to Dartmouth. I came to Dartmouth. I want to go back. I didn't realize the care I'd get, and,
Yeah.
and that's a testimony to the people, the staff, the nurses that work here. We're passionate about providing good care, and we want to look after all the patients.
And
Talking to donors as well, excuse me,
Yeah.
donors want impact, and the wait time for hip and knee replacements is far too long.
Oh.
So this will help solve
we
that
read
problem.
about that all the time.
Here's a solution. We have a solution that
Isn't
can
that
help
great?
bring those wait times down and get those patients in here to
And
get
a
their
lot of
hips
people are
replaced.
suffering because
That's right,
they're
yeah,
waiting
so-
for a hip or knees, and
So here's a great solution that will
great
help
solution.
solve that problem.
So that should bring more donors.
Donors are loving this, and the donors want impact, right? So that's what they're seeing. They'll
So-
see the benefit of this.
And maybe some of the donors are looking forward to getting hips and
With an
and
aging
knees.
population, we're
Yeah,
all going to be
yeah.
needing probably
and
more. And more.
if you fell in some of that ice, you probably tore the meniscus. in your
Well,
knee.
you know, this was a bad year for ice. We saw
It
that
was
soon.
very bad.
I don't know if you're aware, one of the things that, the lucky things I have is I actually sit on the foundation as well. So we have a very impressive group of women and men that support us.
We'll talk about that when we come back.
Great.
Taking a break now. You're watching Destination Dartmouth. I'm down here at the great Dartmouth General Hospital, and my guests are Dr. Todd Howlett, Chief of Staff, and Stephen Hardy, CEO and Executive Director
Foundation.
of
yeah.
Foundation, Dartmouth General Foundation. Be right back. I'm back with Dr. Todd Howlett and Stephen Hardy. Todd, you were talking about being on the board.
Yes. So one of the great joys I have is in my position I get to sit on the board, and I've been impressed with we have a volunteer board, so these people volunteer their time.
What would we do without volunteers?
I have no idea.
They make things happen.
It is.
Yeah.
I volunteer on 5 boards.
Thank you for that. I mean, it's the
Gloria was on our first board of the first hospital board in 1977, is that right? So
it's the
thank
fabric
you for your
that stitches the
volunteering.
community together.
It is.
But I think one of the things that we've been humbled by, and maybe Stephen will talk a little bit more, is some of our significant donors.
Yes.
We have the small donors and we have some large donors,
Yeah.
and some of them have made
Great.
a real,
That's great.
real generous contribution.
And the other people give what they can afford.
Absolutely.
So let's talk about your board, Stephen.
Yeah, we have a great volunteer
How many
board.
members?
We have a 15-person board, so we have
Who's the
regular
chair?
Turnover. Peter Boyd
Yes.
is our board chair.
Right.
Dan Gibson is our treasurer. I'm not sure
Yes,
if you know Dan.
yeah, I do.
Rob Miedema from Boyne Clark is our vice chair. And we have a great group of volunteers.
Isn't
They're
that
all
great?
so engaged and give of their time. If you want something done, give it to a busy person.
Yeah,
That's the
yeah.
old adage. I think
That's
this
the
is
way.
very true. These
Yeah.
board members are great volunteers and they're very busy, but they roll up their sleeves and get things done. We have almost 100% participation for this campaign from our board members.
Isn't that great?
Our doctors have given over $500,000 from
Isn't that
our
wonderful?
physicians.
Our doctors who are all underpaid. It's true.
They've been very generous to this
No,
campaign.
I agree with that. We don't pay our doctors enough. That's why we have a hard time getting them.
Right, yeah.
Anybody listening? Okay.
So the support from the physicians have been fantastic. They see firsthand the need, right? So they
Of course
see what,
they do, yeah.
you know, for the new operating rooms and reducing wait times. So they see that firsthand.
So when do you think this campaign will end? Do you have any idea when you're going to get
We're
that
going to wrap
other,
this up
that other 2 million?
by the end of December of this year. So
Right.
by December 2019, we want to open this next wing. So the next phase is will be open to the public by December, and we want to unveil our donor wall
Yeah.
here in this new wing as of December.
So when will you start? Will you start another campaign then? Or will you just...
Todd has a great list of activities which
Yeah, we're
is
just getting
coming.
started.
We're just getting started, yes.
I mean, things are, you know, we're the only regional hospital, or one of them without an MRI, so that's
I know that.
That's ahead of us, we believe, we
And
hope.
you do the bone density thing here now?
We do, yeah.
That's good.
And there's a number of exciting opportunities. The Orthopedic Center is just getting going. There may be some future innovations that we'll want to support as we do
Good.
this. We don't want to be just the best orthopedic center in Nova Scotia. We want to be the best in Canada.
Well, we can do that.
We can do that,
We
exactly.
can do that.
With our donors' help as well. The
We
donors
can
want
do that,
as well.
but we just have a message for the people out there who have some money that they don't know what to do with. They can always bring
They
it
will
here
have
to
an
the
impact,
Dartmouth
exactly. We
General.
will make sure there's an
They will have a
impact,
big impact, and this is a great hospital,
Yeah.
should they need to come here.
That's right. Some of our donors have been saying that as well. So we have the
Yeah.
O'Regan family. The O'Regan family have given $2 million to
Isn't
this
that great?
campaign.
Yeah.
And they're honoring Neville
I just
Guilfoyle.
bought a
Neville
new car
Guilfoyle.
from them, so.
Oh, good. Well, thank you. So Neville Guilfoyle was our campaign chair for our
Yes,
last campaign.
yes, I knew
who
Neville.
Tragically passed away. And,
I knew that, yeah.
the O'Regans wanted to honor Neville and celebrate his
And the pictures
legacy.
behind Todd of the,
Yes, this new wing will be
endoscopy.
named the
It's the
Neville
endoscopy.
Guilfoyle Wing,
yeah.
which will
yeah,
be
great.
fantastic. So a great
Yeah, that's
tribute.
great, yeah.
Fred Smithers has given $2 million. Fred,
Fred,
will be
yeah.
naming the Orthopedic Center.
Fred's
the,
a good
Fred Smithers
corporate
Center for
resident,
Orthopedic Care.
yeah,
Great
yeah.
donor, great corporate citizen.
Well, it's great we have these people who can afford and are willing to do this.
Very philanthropic.
Yeah, very
But we have
philanthropic.
everyday people. We have Burnside businesses, so the Burnside community is also stepping up.
Yeah.
So small businesses.
We have the best park east of Montreal.
Best park,
A lot of
exactly,
good
yeah.
businesses up there.
That's right,
And I'm
yeah.
glad that they acknowledge what this hospital does.
Right. Companies like Farnell Packaging.
Yeah.
We have Dartmouth Metals. You know, great corporate supporters that
Yeah,
have been
great
really
corporate supporters.
delivering.
And
for
I
us,
think you'll do a great job, Steve.
Oh,
because
I'm enjoying it.
You have that vim and vigor and personality to do that.
It's a great group of volunteers and a great
Yeah.
team and great group of doctors. So
And we're really lucky to be working with the foundation.
Yes,
great
Yeah.
partnership.
Yeah, it is. It's great.
it's a great partnership. Now, where does the money from the golf tournament and the lobster dinner? Where does that?
Yeah, coming up on June 1st, we have our lobster dinner. It's back at the Sportsplex, the Zatzman
I'm glad it's
Sportsplex, back in Dartmouth. The renovations
glad
are
it's
complete.
back.
The money from the lobster dinner and the golf tournament, that will help support providing equipment for the hospital.
That's
so
not part of the campaign.
not part of the campaign. It gives us a new x-ray. We're doing a new Swiss ray machine, a new x-ray machine.
Yeah, they always talk about, you know something, I'm getting the signal that we're out of time.
We could talk all day, for
But,
sure.
but
so.
I might come back. I'm going to be doing more shows this year.
Okay, great.
So I might come back.
That would be
and do
great,
another
Gloria,
love to
if
have
you
you
could do
back.
that. We'd love to see you.
So I want to thank you very much, Dr. Howlett.
Oh, you're very welcome.
And Stephen, for being here today. And for everybody out there, any money you have to spare, they can use it here, and it'll be for a great purpose. Thanks so much for watching. See you next time.